Legacy isn't a monument, it's a garden you tend every day. Welcome to the Pink Parachute Diaries, where we amplify the voices of Black women making waves in their fields. I'm your host, and today I'm thrilled to share insights from my recent conversation with Lee Fulbright, a visionary whose work has fundamentally transformed how we understand leadership, legacy, and community elevation. Lee isn't just a thought leader. She's a legacy architect who has dedicated her life to dismantling barriers for Black professionals. Her revolutionary frameworks have helped thousands redefine success beyond individual achievement, creating ripple effects that have transformed entire industries. What makes Lee truly exceptional is her ability to blend razor sharp strategic thinking with deep cultural wisdom, creating pathways where others only saw walls. When most of us think about legacy, we imagine something distant, something we'll worry about later, a consideration for retirement, perhaps, or something we leave behind after we're gone. But my conversation with Lee Fulbright challenged this conventional thinking in ways that shook me to my core. Legacy is not just about what you leave behind. Lee emphasized during our interview, her voice carrying the weight of conviction born from decades of experience. But what you actively build every day through empowering others, fostering community, and modeling equity in action. This insight stopped me in my tracks. How many of us postpone thinking about our impact until some future date? How many of us believe that legacy building is reserved for the end of our careers? According to Lee, for Black professionals and leaders especially, legacy is not a future consideration. It's a daily practice rooted in culture, mentorship, and collective uplift. This perspective challenges us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about making an impact. It asks us to shift from thinking about legacy as a monument we leave behind to seeing it as a living garden we tend every day. Let me share three powerful insights from my conversation with Lee that illuminate this revolutionary approach to legacy building. First, legacy is a living process. Every action you take today to empower others, mentor emerging leaders, and uplift your community contributes to your legacy now, not just in the future. This means the email you send encouraging a colleague, the time you spend mentoring a young professional, the systems you create that promote equity. These aren't just good deeds, they are active legacy building. Second, cultural pride and resilience are essential assets. Drawing on your heritage and community strengths isn't just personally fulfilling, it's a strategic advantage in leadership and entrepreneurship. Our unique perspectives as Black women aren't limitations to overcome, but powerful foundations upon which to build distinctive approaches to leadership. Third, building systems for equity multiplies impact. Sustainable leadership means creating pipelines, mentorship networks, and opportunities that last beyond any one individual, ensuring that the next generation has a foundation to thrive. When we design systems with equity at the center, we create impact that outlasts our direct involvement. These insights aren't just theoretical, they're being put into practice by visionary leaders across the country, and the results are transformative. Consider the Leaders of Color Summit, led by Leslie Rodriguez Torres and Edwin Quezada. This gathering brought together educational leaders of color to share strategies for sustaining leadership through culture, capacity, and community. These leaders faced significant challenges: under resourced urban settings, a lack of formal leadership pipelines, and the difficulty of sustaining impact beyond their tenure. Their solution? They implemented culturally responsive leadership approaches, established mentoring at all levels, and created spaces for intergenerational learning rooted in equity. The results were remarkable. The summit produced actionable tools for legacy building, stronger leadership ecosystems, and inspired the next generation to lead with cultural pride. Both Rodriguez Torres and Quezada brought nearly 2 decades of experience in diverse urban school districts. What made their approach unique was their focus on elevating those without formal titles, but who were nonetheless critical to student success. They developed mentoring programs and expanded leadership opportunities for students and staff alike. Perhaps most importantly, they broadened the definition of leadership and built sustainable systems that continue to empower communities long after individual leaders move on. This is legacy building in action, not waiting until retirement to make an impact, but creating systems today that will continue to bear fruit tomorrow. Another powerful example comes from the Black X Conference organized by the African American Leadership Institute. This gathering of Black entrepreneurs, innovators, and professionals focused specifically on shaping legacies rooted in purpose, power, and progress. Participants often faced barriers related to access, representation, and the need for supportive networks that honor heritage while driving innovation. The conference addressed these challenges by creating immersive sessions featuring dynamic speakers and designing community building experiences that blended tradition with forward thinking strategies. The outcomes were transformative. Attendees reported increased confidence, developed actionable strategies for leadership, and experienced a strengthened sense of identity and purpose. The African American Leadership Institute itself was founded to address the lack of spaces where Black leaders could network, learn, and celebrate their unique contributions. Over time, they established a recurring event that now attracts leaders from across the country, fostering mentorship and collaboration. Their impact extends beyond the conference itself, helping to define new models of Black leadership and entrepreneurship that prioritize cultural pride and collective advancement. This approach to legacy building, focusing on community, culture, and systems, is also evident in the healthcare sector. The National Medical Association's convention brought together Black physicians and health leaders to address leadership, advocacy, and health equity. Black medical professionals have long faced systemic inequities in healthcare policy, underrepresentation, and barriers to leadership roles. The convention provided a platform for solution focused dialogue, professional development, and advocacy for equitable care. The outcomes were significant: increased national visibility for Black physicians, development of new mentorship and leadership programs, and actionable policy recommendations. The NMA has a long history of advocating for Black physicians and equitable healthcare, evolving its mission to meet contemporary challenges. By hosting its 123rd annual convention, expanding its reach, and solidifying its role as a leading voice for health equity, the NMA improved support systems for Black physicians and contributed to broader policy changes benefiting underserved communities. These examples illustrate what Lee Fulbright emphasized in our conversation: legacy isn't something we wait to build. It's something we actively construct every day through our choices, our mentorship, and the systems we create. This perspective is particularly powerful for Black women navigating professional spaces where we are often undervalued and overlooked. As we know all too well at the Pink Parachute Diaries, talented Black women are too frequently handed pink slips while underperforming men receive golden parachutes. In this context, building legacy through daily actions of empowerment and system creation becomes not just important, but essential. Maya Angelou once said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." This wisdom aligns perfectly with Lee Fulbright's perspective on legacy. The feelings of empowerment, confidence, and possibility that we instill in others through our mentorship and community building, these are the seeds of legacy that grow into forests of opportunity for generations to come. So, what does this mean for you? How can you begin building your living legacy today? First, recognize that legacy building isn't reserved for those with certain titles or at certain stages of their careers. Every interaction is an opportunity to empower someone else. Every system you touch is a chance to embed equity more deeply. Every challenge you overcome is wisdom you can share. Second, draw strength from your cultural heritage and community. The resilience, creativity, and wisdom embedded in our traditions aren't just sources of personal pride. They are strategic assets that inform innovative approaches to leadership and problem solving. Third, think beyond individual mentorship to system creation. Ask yourself, what structures can I help build that will continue empowering others, even when I'm not directly involved? How can I create pathways that make it easier for those coming after me? As Lee Fulbright emphasized in our conversation, when we shift from seeing legacy as a monument to seeing it as a garden, everything changes. Monuments are static. They commemorate what has been. Gardens are living. They continue to grow, to nourish, to transform with each season. I want to leave you with a challenge today. Right now, in this moment, your legacy is taking shape, not in some distant future, but in your next decision, your next interaction, your next opportunity to lift someone else up. The world doesn't need more monuments, it needs more gardeners, people who understand that true impact comes not from standing alone in isolated glory, but from creating fertile ground where others can flourish. So I ask you, what seeds will you plant today? Whose growth will you nurture? What systems will you help create that will continue bearing fruit long after you've moved on? The power to shape your legacy isn't waiting for you in the future. It's in your hands right now. Use it, not just for yourself, but for your community, for those who will come after you, for a world that desperately needs the garden only you can grow. Your legacy isn't a monument you'll someday build. It's a garden you're already tending. Make it flourish.